This article caught my eye the other day. Somebody just posted it on Instagram. And what makes it so interesting is it's an article that was written just before the onset of all the madness. It was written in late February 2020. And we can see the culprit here. Ah! Yeah! 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 Yeah, the very organization that when I was at Virgin Fest, everybody thought I was a reporter for them, which is pretty funny, just because I was twice as old as everybody else there. But anyway, so this is way back in February of 2020, and it's one of these articles that tries to subtly ridicule so-called conspiracy theorists and so-called anti-vaxxers. Now, this was way before there was any talk of a vax for this so-called virus, this so-called deadly global pandemic, this scamdemic. Way before any of that, but nevertheless, Vice was on the. They were Johnny on the spot, and they were finding all of these kooky, crazy people who are saying things like anti-vaxxers are terrified the government will enforce quote unquote a vaccine for coronavirus. What a crazy thing to be forecasting. I mean, like, that's ever going to happen. Like, there's ever going to be an enforcement of a vaccine. There's ever going to be a vaccine mandate. That's never going to happen, right? That'll never happen. Who are these crazy, kooky people? What in the world are they talking about? This just shows that they're off their rockers. They are just totally insane. Okay, so anti-vax groups on social media are claiming that the spread of the disease will lead to mandatory vaccinations and unlimited surveillance. What a nutty thing to assert. Okay. I'm going to skip around here. I don't want to just read from beginning to end. That's boring, the way that some people do online. The rapid spread is beginning to look a lot like a pandemic. Okay. But anti-vaccine corners of the internet are worried about something else, that the government might develop or even enforce a coronavirus vaccine. These anti-vaccine corners of the internet. Wow, they're just so out of line. I mean, this is just like, they've just read too many dystopian science fiction novels. They've watched a little too much Hunger Games. They're just crazy. But for most people, the news that a vaccine had been developed against the disease would come as a relief. But for anti-vaxxers, it ties together two things. The first is naturally an overwhelming fear and distrust of vaccines. The second is a terrified certainty that someday the government will find a convenient excuse to enforce Orwellian degrees of control. And as every sensible person knew in February of 2020, the government is not seeking to find convenient excuses to enforce Orwellian degrees of control. What a crazy notion! Who thinks these things besides these just unhinged anti-vaxxers and so forth? There is a common theme in the anti-vax world and conspiracy theorist communities more broadly, that every disease outbreak is a pretext to force a secret, frequently sinister agenda. mean something like the Great Reset, something like the quote-unquote new normal. Okay. So then they go on, talking about other things. It's white knighting for good old Bill Gates. Isn't that wonderful? You know, this just reminds me of how I got kicked off of my initial YouTube channel, how I got kicked off for cyberbullying people like James Gunn and Hillary Clinton and John Podesta and Steven Spielberg. I was the cyberbully. Now these people are, they're picking on poor Bill Gates. And Vice is so courageously standing up for this poor picked on man with no power whatsoever. All right, skipping down a bit. Undaunted, the rumors, at least in anti-vax communities and social media, began to shift. The consensus now seems to be that while there's no vaccine yet, it will soon be impressed on an unwilling population, along with other vaccines. Of course they will enforce another vaccination, wrote Mark Ilkin, blah, blah, blah. It's a double-sided agenda. Cull the nations and for more control. The order out of chaos card will be in full effect due to the virus. The infrastructure of the world is in serious trouble, and with that comes medical martial law. Okay. Well, was Mark Elkin wrong? You know, with this the retrospect, the nearly 2-year retrospective, was he wrong in what he says here about the use of the vaccine or the Baj, whatever? So these people are just out there and they're spreading their dangerous ideas faster than reputable organizations like Facebook and big tech in general. They're very reputable people who can be trusted, and they don't have an agenda at all except to promote the truth. But these crazies out there, they're dangerous. They're not just people who have a different point of view on things. They are crazy. They actually think there's going to be mandates for vaccines. Can you believe that? Okay. So Larry Cook says, if you wanted to shut down the internet and social media to ensure an agenda is played out, like lots of deaths from a pandemic, what excuse would you use? Here's a good one right here. Okay, so this is he's talking about how things will be censored online, how alternative treatments will be censored online, how the tech companies will do the bidding of big pharma and ensure that these alternative treatments, which are in fact quite effective in many cases, that they will never be talked about at major tech companies, because the tech companies are in cahoots with big pharma. Such conspiracy mongering. Oh my. CDC proposes indefinite detainment, forced vaccination, and unlimited surveillance for travelers. So this claims it's an old rumor mongering post from Stop Mandatory Vaccination. Make no mistake, the purpose of the coronavirus is to help usher in vaccine mandates. Cook wrote another post. Be woke, know the plan, prepare, resist. I mean, I just can't help. This is partly Schadenfreude. because these people, these mofos here, these smug mofos writing for Vice Motherboard, they think they're just they think they're so superior. They think they're I mean, it's just like the Daily Show going to visit a flat Earth convention and asking sarcastic questions to the people there. It's the same kind of smug attitude. This sort of we know better than these kooks. All right, she said. So the writer goes on saying, all right, the idea that only a vaccine or a drug could save you, we wouldn't exist if that was true. She was one of the filmmakers behind the vaccine movie Vaxxed, on which he worked with Andrew Wakefield. The now discredited, he's been discredited. Oh, well, we don't have to pay attention to him. He's been discredited. All right. So anyway, goes on and on, talks about how they promote natural cures, all of this fear-mongering. If that isn't gaslighting, I don't know what is. I mean, I don't like to use that word gaslighting because I think it gets abused. It gets overused. But look, they're accusing these people of fear-mongering. And, we've seen just a lot for the last year and a half, year and 3/4, 2 years, relentless, nonstop fear-mongering, but not by these people, people with alternative explanations, these so-called conspiracy theorists, these so-called anti-vaxxers. The fear-mongering has come from the establishment, from the mainstream media, from big tech companies. They're the ones promoting fear-mongering. Claims that massive doses of vitamin C, sesame oil, garlic, and bleach can cure are spreading through anti-vax and conspiracy groups. Okay. This is before ivermectin was really being talked about. This is before that other drug that Fauci and company tried to say was just completely useless, and doctors needed to stop prescribing it or else they would lose their licenses, or this very top down tyrannical totalitarian approach to medicine. All right. So it goes on and on like that. So, apparently referring to a recent bill that would have ended religious exemptions for vaccines, but which died in January. Laws are being dropped in all states across the country. That's what you have to get involved with. That's what you have to worry about, making vaccines mandatory. So is that it? Are we done? I think we're done. So anyhow, I just think there's a certain delicious schadenfreude, because I mean, they haven't taken this. Vice has not taken this down. They haven't. They haven't added any kind of addendum saying, "Whoops, the quote unquote anti-vaxxers." Well, they were right. We were making fun of them in this article. We were ridiculing them. We were calling them loony and not to be believed, not credible. But I mean, we surely are seeing this happen now, aren't we? The government will enforce a vaccine for coronavirus. At the time, February of 2020, it was like, of course this isn't going to happen. Of course that won't be the outcome. But now, late 2021, December of 2021, this has all been left behind, and it's like these crazy kooky people want to resist. Now they want to yes, they're enforcing the vaccine, And these crazy kooky people want not to take the vaccine. And so, like, without the nary the blinking of an eye, they switch from saying, oh, these people are so ridiculous for saying this is coming, to when the so-called ridiculous people are right and it comes, then they turn on a dime and say, and they don't say, oops, we were wrong, you were right. They say, well, now that the vaccine is here, we need to have it be mandatory. People need to take it. And now the so-called anti-vaxxers are bad because they don't want to take it. They don't want it to be mandatory. They want there to be freedom for bodily autonomy. People should be able to take it or not take it. People should be able to, if it works, then it should be able to work for the people who take it. So why should those who don't take it, who are around them, be any kind of danger to them? Anyhow, it's just one of those things I just wanted to point out in retrospect. And I'll link to this article so you can enjoy and delectate in the irony of these smug people who thought they were so right back then, turning out to be, it turned out that the people they were ridiculing in this article were the ones who were right, and they were dead wrong. Thanks for watching.